Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In the remnants of a once thriving metropolis, the sun hung low in the sky, streets littered with debris from a cataclysmic war that had ravaged both the earth and its inhabitants. The air was thick with tension and despair, a potent reminder of the burden humanity bore as they fought against the Viraxians, an alien race that had invaded their planet. Eli, a ruggedly handsome combat veteran in his late 20s, stood atop a crumbling building, his keen eyes scanning the horizon. He was battle-worn yet resolute, his heart pounding with adrenaline as he prepared to lead his team into the fray once more. Clad in a scavenged military uniform, his muscled frame reflected years of hardship and survival. Eli was not just any fighter. He was a symbol of resistance, a thorn in the side of their alien oppressors. A sudden explosion echoed in the distance, jolting him from his thoughts. He clenched his jaw, recalling the countless lives lost under the Viraxians' brutal regime. But no one instilled as much fear and respect as their leader, Seraphine. Her name resonated through the ranks of human resistance fighters, spoken in hushed tones, a mix of reverence and loathing. With shimmering scales that caught the light like precious gems, Seraphine was as enthralling as she was deadly. Known for her strategic mind and unparalleled combat skills, she commanded loyalty among her people, the Viraxians, who followed her with unwavering devotion. Legend spoke of her strength, both physical and psychological, defying the limits of fear and domination. Eli steeled himself, recalling the tales of her conquests and the way she had turned the tide of battle in her favor time and time again. Yet, beneath the hatred, he felt an inexplicable curiosity, a strange pull towards the alien warrior who had reshaped his world. It was the kind of fascination that danced at the edges of his consciousness, whispering opportunities of something more than conflict. As his team assembled below, clad in makeshift armor and clutching weapons scrounged from the rubble of the past, Eli allowed himself a moment to reflect. Today was crucial. Today, they would confront Seraphine herself. The thought fueled his resolve. Despite his training and the rage boiling within him, he felt a mix of anticipation and dread. "Ready up!" Eli shouted down to his comrades, his voice resonating with urgency. As they launched into action, the ground shook beneath them, a cacophony of sounds enveloping the city. Eli led them through abandoned streets, memories of their former lives punctuated by the overgrowth reclaiming man-made structures. The battle loomed ahead, a tempest swirling with chaos. In the distance, Eli's gaze fixed on the silhouette of Seraphine standing above her troops, a regal figure amidst the chaos, commanding attention with her mere presence. Their eyes locked for a fleeting moment, and Eli felt a strange connection, a challenge and a promise within her gaze. Today, he would confront not only their enemy, but something deep within himself. As he raced forward, determination surged. In the heart of conflict, perhaps lay the possibility of understanding. The night was ablaze with chaos as Eli plunged deeper into the fray. The sounds of battle, shouts, explosions, and the clash of metal created a symphony of violence that crescendoed around him. His instincts kicked in, guiding him through a sea of chaos where combatants moved like shadows among the ruins of a world long gone. Eli's heart raced as he fought through a group of Viraxian soldiers, his limbs fueled by adrenaline and purpose. Each strike was fueled by the faces of those he had lost to these invaders. He remembered his family, friends, and the innocents whose dreams had been crushed beneath the weight of alien oppression. With every move, he channeled their memories, letting them propel him forward. Within the devastation, Eli's eyes were drawn back to Seraphine, commanding her forces with fierce determination. Her ethereal beauty remained almost breathtaking, even amidst the carnage. She moved gracefully, her striking scales shimmering in the flickering lights of battle, a vision of power that contributed to her formidable legend. Eli's resolve hardened. He couldn't just fight her. He needed to understand her. What could drive someone to lead such a merciless campaign against humanity? As the realization set in, he pushed past a line of engaged fighters, determined to confront Seraphine at last. He spotted her, fighting fiercely against one of his comrades. Eli made his way towards the chaos, wielding his weapon with precision, responding to the threats around him with practiced ease. As he managed to fend off an attacking Varaxian, Eli seized the moment to close in on Seraphine. With swift agility, he broke through the ranks and engaged Seraphine directly. Their weapons clashed, metal meeting scales in a spectacular display, sparks igniting the air around them. The world around them faded into a blur as they became locked in combat, a dance of strategy and brute force. "Impressive, human," Seraphine taunted, her voice smooth yet edged with menace as she maneuvered deftly, displaying agility that matched his. Eli gritted his teeth, matching her intensity. "This ends today, Seraphine." Their fight escalated, a testament to skill and will. Eli found himself pushed to the limits, desperate to outsmart this remarkable leader. With a final, fateful maneuver, he managed to disarm her, sending her weapon skittering away. The moment hung in the air, charged with energy. Eli held her at bay, his weapon pressed against her throat, staring into her fierce, unyielding eyes. "Yield," he demanded, his voice steady, betraying none of the turmoil swirling within. She studied him without fear. A smirk creased her lips as their gazes locked in an electrifying moment of silent recognition. "Is this victory? To hold me at your mercy?" Eli's sincerity faltered under her provocative gaze. "If I have to hold you down to end this war, then yes." Instead of cowardice or anger, Seraphine's laughter rang out, a fierce, intoxicating sound that reverberated in Eli's chest. "You may have physically subdued me, but do you think you can vanquish me as a spirit? You know nothing of defeat or true dominance." His heart pounded, caught off guard by her confidence. The fight between them shifted, evolving into something entirely different, a challenge layered with a strange tension, stirring emotions that had no place in this battlefield. "What do you know of it?" Eli asked, still holding the advantage, against all intuition wanting to learn. "What drives you to destroy us?" "Everything," she replied, a fierce look ignited in her eyes. "Survival, loyalty, glory. You only understand pain because you've suffered. I know of duty. The weight of expectation drags my kind into war." Eli lowered his weapon slightly, uncertainty creeping in as he grappled with the realization that beneath the surface of an enemy was a complex being driven by a code he didn't fully understand. "Your people don't have to kill us to survive." "Perhaps," she replied, her tone placating and mocking, as she effortlessly twisted from under his hold, reclaiming her composure. She surged forward, seizing control of the encounter once more, and their fight continued with fiery intensity. After what felt like an eternity, the battle raged around them. Exhaustion overtook Eli, but he knew he had to finish this confrontation. With one final surge of energy, Eli managed to best her again, forcing her down once more. He pressed the edge of his weapon to her throat, breathless. "Yield," he growled again, but this time, the word carried less force. He felt the strange pull between them intensifying in that fleeting moment, and he couldn't help but ask, "What if we don't have to fight?" Amusement crept into Seraphine's eyes, and she let out a gentle, mocking laugh, but the undercurrent of something genuine shimmered beneath it. "You think this fight defines our fate? Your rage is the same as ours, Eli. Yet neither of us sees the whole picture." As if time paused around them, reality surfaced, two opponents locked, but perhaps also two souls searching for more. Eli's grip slackened as uncertainty coursed through him. Sweat trickled down his brow, mixing with the weight of destiny hanging heavy in the air. "I'll ask again, what if we don't have to fight?" Seraphine inhaled deeply, and the tension shifted. Does peace mean subjugation? Or can it mean collaboration? Before Eli could respond, a blast echoed nearby, jarring him from the moment. It was a reminder of the world they both belonged to, a world on the brink of collapse. The chaos around them intruded, dragging them back into the conflict. Seraphine's gaze hardened for a fleeting moment as reality crashed back down. "You have your opportunity, human. But know this, my time is not yours to command." With a sudden move, she pushed him back, the momentum of their duel reigniting the fight. Eli stumbled for a moment, both exhilarated and confused, grappling with what had transpired. With fierce resolve, he pressed on, but now they fought not just as enemies, but as two individuals tangled in an intricate web of destiny. The battle raged around them, a chaotic backdrop to the strange connection burgeoning between Eli and Seraphine. As their combat escalated, each clash of their weapons felt charged with not just aggression, but unspoken questions hanging in the air. Eli's heart raced as they fought, every move seeming to echo their contrasting worlds, one of survival and war, the other of honor and duty. The realization struck him. This wasn't just about humanity's fight for survival. It was about understanding the very essence of power and the bonds that could be forged amidst chaos. Eli began to sense a shift in the air, where rage transformed slowly into curiosity, competing with the primal instincts of war. As Seraphine lunged again, Eli deftly sidestepped, watching her grace unfold in an elegant arc. "Stop fighting me," he shouted over the din of battle, desperation creeping into his tone. "You wield a power that could protect us both. Why do you continue this destruction?" Seraphine paused, her eyes narrowing as she regarded him with newfound intensity. "Power? Protect? How can you speak of these terms when you bear a blade against me?" she challenged, confused by the tension shifting beneath their ferocity. "Because I want to understand." Eli shot back, frustration rising in him as he held his ground. "Perhaps it doesn't have to be this way. We are more than what we appear to one another." The intensity shifted, thickening the air between them. In that momentary stillness, Eli's heart trembled with an unfamiliar fear and hope. Could he truly reach her? The gaze they locked into felt like it connected more profoundly than just battle. It was as though their souls were intertwining, hinting at possibilities yet unrealized. Moments stretched between them. "Understanding comes at a price," Seraphine replied softly, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her fierce facade. "I can share my world with you, but know that trust is built through experiences, not mere words." Their eyes lingered on each other, and Eli felt his heart pounding heavily against the weight of the moment. "Then let us explore that world together." Before either could understand the implications of their encounter, the shouts of their respective troops interrupted once more. It was chaos. The sounds of the ongoing battle enveloped them, horns blaring and cries of pain rising like a storm. The urgency of the war loomed over them like a dark cloud, forcing them back to reality. "As much as I wish to persist in this dialogue, the situation demands resolution," Seraphine said, conflict arising in her eyes. Eli took a deep breath, knowing that he may not have another chance to convey what he felt. "If you yield, I can promise you I won't harm you. We can negotiate peace." Seraphine hesitated, the battle raging on around them weighing heavily on her thoughts. Finally, she nodded, a conflicted expression crossing her face. "All right, I yield for now." Eli lowered his weapon cautiously, but his heart raced, not entirely believing the moment, yet hoping it marked a turning point. "More than peace, I seek understanding. Let us learn from each other, not as enemies," his voice faltered slightly, "but as allies." The weight of her decision hung heavily in the air. Even as other soldiers fell around them, Seraphine stepped closer, lowering her own weapon reluctantly, exchanging the weight of combat for the possibility of something new. "Very well," she agreed softly, her gaze slightly softened. "But know this, Eli. Time reveals truths we hide from ourselves, and everyone bears a burden of their past." Just as hope dared to blossom between them, shouts echoed from their respective sides, rife with uncertainty and confusion. Tusks and claws clashed. Desperation ruled as panic surged through the ranks. Seraphine's expression hardened, instinct kicking in once again. "We can't remain here. If they see me yielding." "A distraction," Eli suggested, realization dawning on him. "If we make it seem like we're still fighting, we can draw their attention away, allowing time for discussion." "Yes, but it puts you at great risk," Seraphine cautioned, apprehension painting her features. The weight of their choice loomed over them, but there was an undeniable understanding that the bond they had just formed could forge something powerful. "We've already made history in how we've interacted. Let's not waste the opportunity," Eli replied, conviction flooding his words. Together, they returned to the dance of combat, man and alien, each moving with intent, playing parts under the illusion of aggression. Their choreography was marred with the knowledge of camaraderie hidden beneath the surface. In every clash of their weapons, unrecognized emotions swirled around them. With swift movements, they struck at one another, yet the ferocity was different now. A high-stakes ruse built on new foundations. The soldiers on either side glimpsed fragments of this unique partnership, confusion rippling through both factions. As the cries of battle echoed around them, Eli and Seraphine exchanged quick glances, fueled by a mix of fear and exhilaration. They fought not just for the moment, but for hope, forged in the fire of conflict. Both sides remained engaged, unaware of a trembling thread weaving between Eli and Seraphine, hinting at a future they could scarcely imagine. Against a backdrop of chaos, the possibility of unity flickered like a flame between them, a chance to rewrite their destinies and perhaps shape the future, one fight at a time. The dust of the battlefield settled, but the impact of Eli and Seraphine's unorthodox partnership reverberated deeply through both human and Viraxian ranks. As they fought side by side, a collective awareness began to emerge. Something had shifted within the very fabric of their existence. In the days that followed, the aftermath of their confrontation prompted Eli to transform his role from mere resistance fighter to reluctant leader among the humans. He stood near the remnants of their last stronghold, gathering his fellow fighters amidst the whispers of skepticism that lingered like a dark shadow. "They don't have to be our enemies," Eli argued passionately, though the eyes of his comrades were full of doubt. "Seraphine has shown me that even among our fiercest foes, there lies an opportunity for cooperation. We have endured too much suffering. If we can find a way to coexist, we owe it to everyone we've lost." Eli's voice thundered into the silence, echoing like the sound of hope. Yet bitterness hung in the air, and mutterings filled the crowd. "But they've brought nothing but pain. How can we trust them?" A voice cried. "The Viraxians are skilled adversaries, but Seraphine, she is different. She wants peace, as much as I do," Eli insisted, eliciting a mix of surprise and resistance. Meanwhile, Seraphine faced a different kind of turmoil among her people. The Viraxians gathered in a grand hall adorned with shimmering crystals that refracted the light, casting color across the room. Whispers of betrayal and anger reverberated through the assembly of leaders, their expressions a mix of concern and contempt as they eyed Seraphine with suspicion. "How can you condone this?" an elder challenger exclaimed, his voice dripping with disdain. "To yield to a human, to lower our standards. This is an affront to our legacy." Seraphine straightened her posture, a deep breath steadying her resolve. "It is precisely because of our legacy that we must adapt. Our strength has isolated us, and not all humans are our enemies. Eli is proof of that. We can no longer allow the narrowness of our beliefs to dictate our actions." The hall erupted in shouts, dissent rippling through the ranks. "You risk our power, our legacy for one foolish hope," another voiced vehemently. Seraphine's heart raced, an internal battle igniting as she faced the ramifications of her decisions. What is power if not used to forge alliances? We have the chance to redefine our race and their perception of us, to uphold our traditions while adapting, to choose life over war. In the following weeks, demands echoed on both sides for confrontation. Eli struggled with the growing divide among humans who wished for revenge and absolute annihilation against their oppressors, while Seraphine faced increasing pressure to betray the trust she had placed in Eli. Their fragile alliance hung by a thread as leaders emerged on both sides, urging war rather than understanding. As the environment amplified their struggles, Eli and Seraphine's secret meetings became clandestine missions of hope. In the shadows of war, they convened in hesitant cooperation, driven by a shared goal yet overwhelmed by the weight on their shoulders. One evening, atop a secluded rooftop peering down at the city now teeming with violence, they met under the stars, scheming their next move. "We must proactively show our respective people that unity is powerful," Eli urged, his gaze resolute. "But we can't afford to let our worlds close us off and risk further alienation." Seraphine asked, doubt clouding her features. Eli softened, frustration simmering beneath the surface. "I believe in this, Seraphine. I believe we can change hearts. But if we keep hiding, they'll think we've faltered. We need to demonstrate our strength together, so they know we stand side by side. The weight of the world fell upon Seraphine's shoulders, the call of her people, her duty to uphold traditions, and now the tantalizing hint of something else as she gazed into Eli's eyes. Torn, she felt the threads binding them together wrapping tighter around her heart. "Perhaps we start small," Seraphine suggested hesitantly. "An exhibition of unity, a public display where our people witness this alliance in action." "An excellent idea," Eli replied eagerly, his heart racing. "A united front, where both humans and Viraxians cannot deny your strength or my resolve." As plans unfolded, the seeds of their fragile coalition took root. They organized a gathering on neutral ground, a shared space where both factions could witness their united front. Eli spread word of the gathering among the humans, his passion reigniting hope within their beleaguered hearts. "If we can come together even for a moment, it could spark a revolution," he proclaimed, reaching out to gather support for their cause. Seraphine, too, rallied her forces, pledging to uphold her vision among the Viraxians. Yet day by day, doubt crept into her heart. Was she leading them toward enlightenment or destruction? As the day of the gathering arrived, the sun rose over a battlefield that had been silent, a testament to the change that lay ahead. Signals united the ground, where humanity's fighters stood alongside Viraxians as peers rather than enemies. Both factions observed each other cautiously. Confusion painted across faces as Eli and Seraphine stepped forward. Hands clasped, they stood side by side, a united presence that warped the historical narrative crafted by centuries of conflict. "I know many of you have fought battles against one another," Eli began, voice steady but passionate. "Today, we stand not as enemies, but as allies who understand the cost of war. The only way to heal is through unity. Together, we are stronger than we've ever been apart." Across from him, Seraphine's voice rang out, tinged with sincerity. "We are not defined solely by our actions or by the bloodshed we've endured. We are capable of kindness, wisdom, and dignity. Today marks the beginning of a new path where understanding replaces animosity." The air hung heavy with anticipation, but an electricity coursed through both groups, igniting something deep within their hearts. As they looked to one another, a mixture of human and Viraxian slowly began to unfold. The tension that had long held them captive was loosened, and the terms of their existence flickered on the edge of change. Yet even in this moment of unity, dissent simmered within the audience, souls clinging to past grievances, questioning this fragile alliance. The path ahead remained fraught, an intricate web of choices that would define their futures. Yet Eli and Seraphine knew that they had taken the first steps forward. They had woven a bond, a shimmering thread connecting both species, and perhaps that was the most profound battle they would ever fight. The gathering had become a profound moment, a fragile yet vibrant tapestry of hope weaving together humans and Viraxians as Eli and Seraphine stood united. The air hummed with uncertainty, yet there was an undeniable spark of intrigue among the ranks. Eli felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him, glancing sideways at Seraphine. Her beauty radiated in the sunlight, but it was her strength and poise that captivated him. As he spoke to the crowd, he couldn't shake the memories of their intimate moments, the understanding they had forged between their bodies and souls in the aftermath of conflict. "I know that our history has been filled with pain and betrayal," Eli declared, his voice steady. "But look at who stands beside me today. Together, Seraphine and I have discovered that love can be a bridge, one that transcends the war between us." The crowd murmured. On one side, humans clenched their fists in determination, while Viraxians exchanged wary glances, teetering between skepticism and hope. "Love has shown us the beauty in diversity," Seraphine added, her voice ringing clear, sincerity echoing through the gathering. "It has led to a union not just of heart, but of spirit, a connection that birthed strength and compassion." As her words settled in the mingling air, Eli's thoughts drifted to the night they had shared, the memory of their bodies entwined, of giving and receiving pleasure amidst an atmosphere of vulnerability, filled him with a sense of warmth. Their mating had forged more than just a physical union. It was a moment where fear and hatred transformed into acceptance and understanding. The depth of their connection had become a testament to the resilience of both species. Yet, understanding that not all eyes were filled with compassion, Eli pressed on. Today marks a new chapter, one where we do not merely survive but thrive together. It will require trust, commitment, and the willingness to forego the animosity that has kept our worlds apart. With mutual gazes shared, a silent language passed between Eli and Seraphine, a promise to support and uplift one another, a commitment that extended beyond the battlefield. That night, they returned to Seraphine's secluded quarters, the weight of the day resting heavily on their shoulders. As the door closed, the atmosphere shifted, the familiar dance of tension and attraction igniting anew in the flickering candlelight. Eli stepped closer, heart racing as he traced the outline of Seraphine's jaw with his finger. "What we did, it's changed everything, hasn't it?" His voice was low, sincere. "Our bond runs deeper than I ever imagined." Seraphine's gaze softened, that smirk returning as she nodded. "Yes, but with this bond, we must navigate a path of power and understanding. Our connection can inspire or terrify. Both our people must not misunderstand." Eli understood the gravity of her words, but felt the weight of their union resonate within him. "And as we explore this together, I want you to know that my heart is yours." In the soft glow of the candles, they gravitated toward one another, a magnetic pull igniting between them. Eli closed the distance, his lips finding Seraphine's, taste mingling with that of the resilience they had built. Fire surged through him as her scales brushed against his skin, evoking both passion and tenderness. The world outside faded, and all that existed was the warmth of their embrace, their bodies colliding with urgency. As they explored one another, their emotions ignited primal urges, releasing the years of tension that had shaped them. "Together, we are unstoppable," Eli murmured, breathless. "We can show our worlds that love is stronger than any weapon." Seraphine reciprocated fervently, her hand finding its place at the nape of his neck. "And it is through this union, this mating, that we create something more powerful than either species alone. A legacy of unity and strength." Their bodies entwined in the kind of fervor that transcended beyond the physical, melding two cultures and worlds into one, a soundless promise shared under the stars above. It was an incorporation of cultures, a fusion of human and alien, and together they sought comfort in their exploration of desire. The night grew heavy with the weight of their shared intimacy as they set the course for reconciliation between their worlds. As Eli and Seraphine surrendered to one another, they promised that their bond would become a beacon of hope, a guiding light amidst the chaos, leading both species toward an unparalleled future. In the days that followed their night of unity, the momentum of change began to ripple through both human and Viraxian societies. Eli and Seraphine became symbols of hope and resilience, representing the fruits of collaboration and understanding. Their bond deepened, a shining example of what was possible when two worlds set aside their animosities. As meetings convened, Eli and Seraphine stood before their people, a united front of strength and compassion. With each gathering, misunderstandings faded as dialogue replaced the bitterness of conflict. Humans shared stories of loss, while the Viraxians spoke of their loyalty to family and duty. Eli and Seraphine facilitated exchanges, where fears dissipated into understanding, leading to a movement that challenged their historical narratives. Finally, the simmering discontent within both factions began to soften. On the horizon of their shared efforts lay the chance for a meaningful treaty, concrete steps toward coexistence, equality, and mutual respect. They envisioned a world where children of both species could grow up knowing peace rather than war, where knowledge and pain could pivot to shared accomplishments. One evening, under the brilliance of a starlit sky, Eli and Seraphine held hands and stood at the precipice of a hill overlooking the vast landscape. The air felt electric, thick with the promise of a new dawn. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Eli mused, his heart brimming with a mix of awe and hope. "It's just the beginning, Eli," Seraphine replied, determination etched across her features. "We have the responsibility to uphold this bond, not just between us, but as stewards for our peoples. Together, we will forge a new legacy," Eli assured her, squeezing her hand tightly. one that speaks to the power of understanding and love. Our mating united us, but our commitment will strengthen all our ties. With the essence of their pasts fading softly behind them, the hope for the future shone brightly ahead. They leaned into one another. Eli's hand cradled Seraphine's face, the warmth of their bond igniting once more. In that moment, they shared not just a kiss, but a promise to champion their worlds, protect their peace, and nurture all forms of love that emerged from the crucible of their conflict. As they embraced, the stars shimmered above, witness to a profound transformation. Together, they would change the fabric of existence, not merely as lovers, but as partners on a journey to bridge worlds, crafting a story of unity that would resonate through generations. In the heart of a new dawn, Eli and Seraphine stood together not as enemy and conqueror, but as co-creators of a legacy interwoven with possibilities, shaping a future that had once seemed unimaginable, where the strength of love triumphed over the burdens of the past, forging a path into the galaxy that beckoned beyond.